Okay, whoops, I skipped past the screen. There we are. Welcome, everyone. This is Trevor Beck's Technology Drop-In Thursdays. Today's March 31st, 2022. Got some really fun, geeky stuff for today. So I've been kind of really pushing hard on some of the automations and stuff, just trying to find different solutions for us to work with. So you've probably seen one of the links that come through in, I think, last week. I found a way to change to basically trigger a workflow in Power Automate based on the change of a status. So I'm just going to pull back on the page here. I actually have a link there. It goes to the article I have on my website, goes through some details, and there's the two videos that we've done. So in the past, I've shown you guys how you can go in and using the Power Automate, I could have a script or workflow show up under automation that I can manually trigger. So I can go through one at a time, trigger the action. When I trigger it, typically it will send an email out to someone. It'll change the status here. It'll do a whole bunch of different things. That's great for the one-offs or for a small list because you have to manually do this. But an example that I've been working with before, if social work is doing all their course descriptions, they might have 100 courses or sessions that they're doing, in which case that's a lot of click, click, click. So I figured out this great way. What happens instead now is whenever the person is ready to trigger off all these emails, send out messages, do whatever needs to be done, instead what they can do is they just go in here and they can change this status here to whatever they want. And then they're going to go ahead and they save that status. And over the next couple of minutes, what's going to happen is Microsoft is going to check, see that there's this change here, that the status was changed to here, and it's going to fire off a bunch of emails. And so what ends up happening is you can see here, I selected 4 of these items earlier, and it just sent off doing the mail merge and all that. So I didn't have to touch Outlook again. I just had to go and change the status. So let's take a look. This is the automation that we've got here coming in that I created. And basically it starts off as when an item or a file is modified. So this is the nice thing about it is this automation will work regardless of whether I'm using Microsoft Lists or a file stored in a document library in Microsoft. So if you've got a lot of files and stuff and you're using a spreadsheet to manage the status in that, doing it in SharePoint is a better way to do it. But this is even more powerful because when I change the status, so here's showing you the file. It says, okay, I noticed there's a file was changed, get all the properties for the file. And then I put a filter here that says, only give me the information for files or the item in a list that the status has been changed to send to faculty. And when that happens, do this, trigger this stuff here. So it's going to send these emails off. So this way you can bulk select 100 files, or within the SharePoint list, you can select 100 items, just change them all, and then bang, everything gets updated. These emails get sent off. You can do all sorts of different things, move files to a different location, whatever. But that's a really, really simple automation. It's really easy to do. There's instructions here on my website, as well as I've done a video on there as well, which is kind of redundant because I already said it well. But there's also a video there. Really recommend that this is something that could really change your workflow, save you a whole whack of time as you're managing files. So I can't stress that one enough. That's a really cool one to look at. Rich text is available in Microsoft Lists, which means that when I have a text field here, if I go into my column settings or when I'm initially creating this, under more options, is this new piece here. It says use enhanced rich text. So what that means now is that when I want to go in and add text to that field, so if I go into this text field, come on, I can do bold, italics, I can, alignments. There's also font colors, highlights, all sorts of different stuff. So this is now not just a text field that does text, but it's going to do all the rich stuff, make it colorful, including inserting images as well. So this now becomes a lot more functional as we go forward using this in our Microsoft list. Oh, forms for Excel and OneDrive. I talked a bit about that last week, but I just wanted to kind of run over this with you. I do have a video I'm working on that should be out later this afternoon, I'm hoping. But if you just need to do a quick form, and mostly internally. If you're doing external forms, they'll still have to go through our web services for review and stuff. But internally, this is a great way of doing it. So what this does, and again, we're trying to move away from using Google Forms as much as I like it and stuff like that. It's not our official tools. Microsoft is the official tool. We back it up. We support it more so than we do the Google stuff. And the forms are getting there. They're not as good as Google quite yet, but they've got some functionality that is even better in some ways. But basically what happens here is within OneDrive, which is your personal space, I can create a form and a spreadsheet that are linked together automatically. If you just go into a forms, under the apps here, if you go in and select forms, wherever it is, there it is, and just create a form, it will not automatically link to a Microsoft Excel document. So the easy way to do this is you come into OneDrive, you come under new here, and there's a new selection here called Forms for Excel. When you open that up, it's going to create an Excel document here. It's also going to automatically open up and you can start editing and putting in a Microsoft form. So not as pretty in some ways. One of the nice functionalities that I do like about it, if I go under settings, and we can do the same thing that we do with Google Forms. So, anyone in the world can respond. Only people in my organization are going to be here. It's collecting the name and the emails and stuff. I can have a start date and end date. Now, there's a third-party tool for Google, but this is built into Microsoft, and I really like that because now I don't have to sit around and turn these things on manually. You can go in and use the start and end date for those forms. You can still allow receipts of responses after submission, which basically means that when someone submits something, they get a copy of this form with their answers in there. So nothing customized, it's just here's a copy of what you submitted. So the forms are great for grabbing that, capturing that data. It automatically goes into the spreadsheet and pretty much just the same thing that Google does with Google Forms and puts it into their spreadsheet. One of the nice things, though, is that this also works with Power Automate. So as people submit stuff, I will want to send out a custom message. And you can do that in Power Automate. There's 3 steps. It's so easy to do. And again, I'm working on the tutorial. I'll have it up later this afternoon, I hope, or early tomorrow morning or Monday. But the 3 steps are when something is submitted to this form, get the details of it so that I know all the different field information, and then send an email out. That's it. It's that simple. So that when people start submitting stuff, it's automatically going to be sending them emails to their accounts. So this is a nice way. It's rock solid, which is great. Some of the Google, those people who use Google Forms and Sheets are familiar with Formule. Formule is a great tool, but it does crap out sometimes. It does have a couple of times it does finicky stuff. This is all built into Microsoft. Microsoft supports this. It's rock solid. So I can't stress that enough. One of the things you can also do as part of this process, so every time someone submits something, it's going to send an email out to that user. I can also go under my advanced options here, and under a blind carbon copy, I could send a copy to myself. So that if someone, let's say I send this off to Dave and Dave goes, oh, I didn't get that. I can go, well, yeah, you did, because I was carbon copied on it. So it's kind of like CYA stuff. But in addition to that, I can also post a message to a team or a channel in team. And we've talked about this automation before, but if I'm going to add another step in here, and I'm looking for the app Teams, because that's what I'm working in, and I want to post a message. So I'm just going to type in the word post. Post a message in a chat or channel. So I'm going to go into here and I've got a team, whatever it's called. So first I'm going to do a chat here or channel here. Then I just select the team that I want it to go into. So we'll do this one here. I can find one of the channels that are in there. So we have a channel that maybe that's all we do is talk about all these different submissions of the workshop. And it'll, as part of this process, now also post to that group of people saying, hey guys, someone just submitted something, go check it out, make some comments on it or whatever. So there's lots of cool functionality that we could get done with that. No questions so far? Awesome. So that's forms for Excel. If you're doing external stuff, that should come through our forms stuff. There's privacy that we check out. There's other things. We have a more advanced forms building tool that the university pays for, and we have people that are trained to do that and who've got a lot more experience in automation on the back end. So there's a lot more magic that they can do. So this, like I said, this is good for internal stuff. But if you wanted to do a workshop and have people sign up for it, you could do that. Power Apps in Microsoft Lists. So let me just pop over there so you can see it real quick. One more, Trevor. Nope, that's it. Back here. So let me get. Whoa, my screen just disappeared. Hang on. Come back. Come back to the 5 and dime, Jimmy Dean. Where'd you go? I've lost my page. So let me just try going back here. So Power Apps, when they talk about that, they talk about creating an application. The application isn't like, something you download on your iPhone from the Apple Store. It's just a way of looking at the data that you've collected. So for example, here is a list that I created a while ago. And this is basically a number of laptops that we have. There's a sign out, there's a computer, all this information here. Now, there is a application called Microsoft Lists for the mobile device, so you can go and look at it, but it's all column and it's all the way off to the side. So you can create an application that works on your mobile device. It works in Microsoft Teams that basically looks at this information, but in a view that works better. And here I'll give you an example. If I wanted the same information, here's this application. So there's all the same information that we had in the actual list. So I'm just going to pick, let's see here, 664. I can quickly search on either on Teams on my device, on my desktop, or on Teams on my mobile device. It doesn't matter, but I can go 644, search for it, and whoops, did I obviously type in the wrong number? Was it 0664? Was that what it was? Okay, I'll pick a different one. Yeah, 664. Come on, there we go. So there's that same record. I choose what gets displayed on this page. I then can say, okay, when I click on that, what gets displayed on this page? People can go in and edit and update. So notice we have 664. There's the Chromebook. The status is checked out. I'm going to change that status to needs repair. And I'm going to close that off. And notice that updates for 664. It's checked out, but I'll just do a quick refresh just to push that change through. And it should be, where'd it go? Needs repair. So it's basically just another interface for that same data, but you get to customize how it works. And this is what the Power Apps application looks like. Now you can access, there's some great training materials. This is out of the box. Like I have not touched anything on this really. So you can go in if you want to spend the time and you can create some wonderful applications. There's even the ability, so under the search here, I could also say, bring up my my item here and scan the barcode. So I can use my camera as a barcode scanner and it'll work and you can look up information that way. To play with this, to start with this, just go into a Microsoft list anywhere and under integrate, just go ahead and launch Power Apps and create an app. And it's not going to wreck anything. It's not going to do anything to the original data. It just opens up another interface. And you can see this is how simple it is. It just has the text box in there and other things. And if you take the tutorials, usually I can't remember where the help stuff is, but if you go to Power Apps, the main page, it'll show you the tutorials. It's really easy to get up to speed on that. And like I said before, people can use this right out of Microsoft Teams. You add it to a channel or a conversation, and it's there. People don't have to go looking for it, and you don't have to have that long spreadsheet kind of design out of it. So that is Power Apps. No, don't see any questions, and that's great. And the last thing I want to talk about is Google's got its own booking page. So this was available before Christmas for, they had an account that you could do as an individual. So if I paid $15 a month or something like that, one of the extras that I got on it was a booking page. Well, they're now rolling this out into education as well as nonprofits and business and stuff. And I think, and I haven't seen it yet on ours. I've seen it on my training site that I run. But I think it's going to replace application slot or appointment slots. So they now call it appointment schedule. And basically, it's exactly what you think it is. I go into here, I create appointment schedule. It pops up a page, and I'm just going to use this one that's available here already, that looks like this. So I choose the hours. So you can see here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. These are my different times. I can do all sorts of different things. It's a 15-minute appointment. How far in advance can you book? Any kind of adjustments that we need. So if I have a special day that doesn't meet the regular requirements, I can update that. And then all this other stuff that goes into there. And it basically will allow you to go through, you can pick whether they do a phone call, whether it's a Google Meet and the video calls added in. They can only pick one, which is a little different than what Calendly does. But the nice thing about it is when you're done, you will get a booking page. So for exam prep, I'm just going to go to, it says open booking page. This URL I could put out there and send out to whoever I want. They don't have, it's not internal, it's external as well. And they can go in, there's reminders sent out and all sorts of cool stuff about that. So you can see here, I actually have two different appointment schedules. One for exam preps that runs from 9 to 11. Another one that I have here runs from 5 to 8:30. So and so they have different things. This one here you have to phone in. This one here has a Google Meet. It's already assigned to it, and there's a different link for each one of those items. But it says here, see all your appointment schedules. There's my landing page. I can have as many of these as I want in there. So whether it's a 30-minute meeting, a 15-minute, a 20-minute, this one is by Google Meet. This one here is by phone call. This is totally customizable. It's for you personally. It's not for anything else. It does not sync with Outlook. This is Google, excuse me. This is a Google product, so it's going to go into your Google Calendar, which does not sync with the Outlook. If you want stuff to show up in Outlook, I recommend using Calendly. But for those people that are in nonprofits and some other areas that they have a dedicated app for this kind of stuff, this is a great tool for doing that. And that's it for today. Oh, that was a long one. Questions? Comments?
Hi, Trevor. It's Wendy from Facilities. I have
What's up?
a couple of questions. Right now I'm trying to kind of set up some kind of training for just generically for a facility. Is there what would be the best way to collect the information, the number of attendees that's interested in doing it? Would it by the list, or should I do a form?
Well, let's back up. So you want to do training? I'm going to ask you to mute yourself when I'm talking because no one else can hear. That background noise you've got there is really, really bad. So you know what? McEwen has, like, forms are nice, but you know what? You spend a lot of time trying to maintain them and you're trying to fix them and crap like that. You're better off using tools that are designed to do that. And one of the tools that we have is available through McEwen Life. So McEwen Life allows you to go in. Let me just pull up a screen here so you can see it. But you can go in and create calendars and stuff automatically. The reminders are set up. You can limit how many people are available, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where a lot of our recommendation is that if you need to coordinate that kind of stuff, go ahead and create those directly in McEwen Life. So let me just pull something up here so you can see it. Now it is for logging in, it is intended for internal more than anything else. But, I'm going to pull up my technology training sessions, which I haven't got up there for a while, but let's go back in time for a bit. But here you can see all the different training sessions that I've scheduled in the past. That people can sign up through McEwen Life. They'll get I believe they get a little link that allows them to add that data to their Outlook calendar, and they get reminder emails, et cetera, et cetera. So for something that's easy, rather than trying to build it in forms, whether it's Microsoft or Google, this is a better way to do it. And then that way you've got one place that you can always send people and say, hey, just go check out our technology training sessions, and there's a list of everything we got coming up. That would be my recommendation.
That is perfect. Thank you.
No worries. Did you have another question?
Yes. What would be the major differences between building an Excel form versus a list? And let me know if I'm correct or way off. My understanding for a list is more like a task-based assignment and reminders. Form
No,
is just for
no,
collection of data and do something with that data.
no, totally incorrect. Um, List is a spreadsheet. It's still a spreadsheet. It's actually a combination of a spreadsheet and a database, really. And a lot of the functionality that you do in Excel, like filter and sort and all that kind of stuff, is done much easier. So here I can go and filter by, just show me all the Windows stuff. So I'll just pull up the Windows stuff. And so any of my users can do that. They can sort that, but that is temporary. It doesn't save to the spreadsheet. The problem when you do sorting in a spreadsheet like Excel is if you have 5 columns, people will often go, well, I need the email and the name, so I just select that and I sort that. So they sort those 2 columns, but the rest of the stuff doesn't change. So you basically have corrupted your data. It's gone because you've mixed it all up. That doesn't happen here. The Microsoft lists are only available through, give me a second, I think the best way with forms and that is it's in SharePoint. Okay. I'm trying to remember if I'm lying. No, I am lying because you can do some personal stuff now, but it's still designed better for SharePoint. There's more functionality that you can do into it. And if you haven't yet, take a look. I've on my website, there is a session, or go into Microsoft Stream. There's a session called Drop Excel for Microsoft Lists. And it'll show you why lists are awesome. Like this whole status stuff and return dates, and there's email reminders, and you can build different views and stuff like there, these filter views. Much more powerful than Excel. But the reality is everyone's used to Excel. Oh, I can't do lists, I want Excel. So I think that's part of the reason why they've done that. And also, like I said before, that Excel stuff is only available directly in in OneDrive. You can build a lot of that stuff manually once you get into Power Automate, and that's fine. But most people don't want to learn that. But when it comes to the power, like I was just showing you, like for me to have triggers and actions happen because I set this status to a certain thing. So, I get the person's name, I send out this email confirming this, then I'm going to change my status to yes, I did send it out to them, and that. It allows you to organize your files. It allows or items that you have here in a list. It allows you to organize them and do more with them. And the power is there. It's not in Excel anymore. For some things, it's Excel, like the financial side and stuff. But as a database management kind of tool, which is kind of what this is the future. I mean, this is where people can really do stuff. And you as a owner of this know that people can go in, they can sort, they can change, but they can't make those changes permanent, so nothing gets damaged. Your data doesn't get corrupted at all. That was a long one, sorry. All right, anyone else have any other questions? Okay, then I'm just gonna turn off recording and we'll just hang out for a little bit more.